Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel is going to be, at long last, my Scream film series ranking video. Now, I just want to say, guys, this is only my personal ranking of the Scream film series. At the end of the day, that this is all subjective. There's no right or wrong here. This is just my personal ranking of the Scream film series, and I'm sure we're all gonna have different rankings when it comes to the Scream films. And kind of what inspired me to do this as well is my awesome buddy Jordan at Movie Worm did a brilliant Scream ranking video a couple of weeks back now, and he absolutely nailed it. And yeah, that's kind of what inspired me to do ranking all the Scream movies to date. Now guys, I will just say I'm a bit of a newcomer still to the Scream film series, the Scream universe. So I think if you want a lot more in depth with the Scream movies, Jordan is your guy. Yeah, I've been a little bit slow with the Scream film series. I've kind of just stuck to the original for the longest time, and then it's only been the last year or something that I've decided to delve into the sequels. But yeah, gonna get straight into it now, guys. And number 7, considered, I would say, kind of out of the original run of films, the black sheep of the Scream film series, and that is Scream 3 coming at number 7. Now guys, I still quite like this film. I don't think there's a bad film in the Scream film series. I think the third film is still a decent film, but I do think it does somewhat pale in comparison to the first two films. I just think the editing side of the third one feels a little bit rushed. There isn't as much oomph here, I think, whereas I think the first two films had that going for it and it did it the best. I think the kind of the threat level here of the third one just seems like a bit of the run-of-the-mill Scream film, but it's decent. I do like how we're kind of following the backstory of Sydney's mother, who I think was working on this Hollywood production, or I think she starred in a film. You learn a bit about that, but also Randy's backstory as well, with kind of this like video cassette tape that's been handed over. I think this is the Scream film that's got kind of the most Hollywood feel about it, with the kind of the Hollywood setting and the production of Stab 3. I think, yeah, not the best ghost-faced killer in this, but yeah, and I do think the opening scene was a little bit on the cliche side, but I do appreciate it was at least trying something different compared to the first two films with its opening scene. But yeah, it's obviously great to see Dewey, Gale Weathers, Sydney back in this, but yeah, I think this is kind of one of the weaker entries into a slasher film series for me, this one. And at number 6, I have gone for Scream 4. Now, potentially this could be a hot take incoming, because I know Scream 4 is quite a beloved sequel, but yeah, I think on first viewing of this, guys, I felt a little bit cold with this one, to be honest. I just didn't really care for some of the characters in the fourth installment. I do appreciate that, obviously, this is the first Scream film we had in like a decade, and obviously another Scream film had a similar time jump. We will get onto that. But yeah, again, I do like how it's still kind of following kind of the family tree within Sydney Prescott, and obviously we're focusing on like her cousin Jill, who makes for an interesting addition to this Scream universe, this film. And again, a couple of decent side characters. I do like that dude who again is running like this stab movie marathon. Again, like the third one, there is some decent kills in there. One by like this house party, and then yeah, there's just like someone comes up with this like, I think there's like this rule if as it is stated in the film, if someone is gay, they wouldn't get killed. And this guy is trying to pretend that he is gay so he doesn't get killed. But yeah, you see how that goes. And yeah, I think again, it's interesting to just, again, we're following some new characters here. Sydney is kind of just back in Woodsboro after 10 years. She's notices that there's been a couple of these anonymous killings going on. She's wanting to kind of talk to the press, but also talk to a couple of college students there as witnesses of this. And I found that a bit of an interesting direction, considering Sydney was in this situation right at the original. So yeah, and again, I've got to say, there's a couple of really dark, intense, enthralling scenes captured in this hospital as well. So it's not bad, but it's got its boring moments for me, in my opinion. There's one brutal kill I remember by like this car, I remember as well. Coming in at number 5 is the latest addition to the Scream universe, and that is Scream 7, the latest entry. And obviously this film has had a bit of mixed responses. I've noticed, like, kind of through social media, just word of mouth. I've got to say, guys, I took it as another Scream film, and did I have entertainment from it? Yep. Did I get a decent 6.5 out of 10 sort of slasher movie? Yep. So it ticked off those boxes off for me, and I walked away a pretty satisfied, happy bunny there. Don't get us wrong, guys, it doesn't do anything new in regards to kind of like with its storytelling or within the Scream universe, but I feel like it's a good kind of callback to a couple of characters you see in the original, wherever that's Tatum or Stu. You've got a bit of a callback to Billy as well. Yeah, I do like how we kind of mainly set this small town, Sydney's family dynamic coming to this film as well. Really did think that her husband was an awesome side character in there. And it's good to kind of see from both the mother and daughter dynamic in this film. Sydney's daughter, you know, got a group of friends. She feels like Sydney's been the overprotective one. She wants to shy away from that, but she gets a real wake-up call that she's kind of noticing what her mother noticed all those years ago with these anonymous killings from the anonymous ghost killer. Again, there's one intense scene involving a house fire as well. Again, one brutal kill by this stage play, this theatre stage play. It's just, yeah, a very solid film. Gonna be very interested to see where this stands within the next film, the 8th film, and very interesting direction from Kevin Williamson there. So that is Scream 7 coming at number 5 there. Getting into Champions League territory now. And number 4 with Scream 6. I had so much fun with Scream 6. I just loved how this film, it went to a complete 180, a completely different direction altogether within the space of a year after its previous film, and Kevin Williamson and etc. and the director of this film said, we're going to take this premise and we're going to make it into a city, which is NYC, and it totally works. It fits the vibrancy, the Halloween setting, the nightlife of New York, and there's a real nitty-gritty side to this film, and I just think New York is worked its full advantage, just like Jordan said in his ranking video there. And yeah, I think this is a fantastic entry into the Scream film series. Great to still see Samantha and Tara Carpenter from the 5th film return to this, and a bit similar to Sydney and her daughter Tatum. Tara still feels that Samantha's been the overprotective one, over-exaggerating, but Tara really sees kind of what is to come in the film, and that's where she really wants to have a cuddle with her sister and get to the bottom of these anonymous killings that's taken place from each different corner. I've got to say, guys, my only gripe with this film is one of the killings somewhat predicts that from a mile off. I think just when you see kind of one person on this Q metro, I don't know if that's a bit of a spoiler, but you see one character in this Q metro, and I was like, the Q underground, I was like, yeah, I could definitely see where this is going. And I kind of did predict that. Yeah, so that was kind of a bit predictable. But one of the other killings, I think just with the whole family dynamic, it felt a bit cliche way to kind of have a different take on the ghost face killers. I wasn't a big fan of a couple of the characters in this. I think this group of characters, there are a couple of characters there that don't do much for me personally, but they still play a decent part into these latter Scream movies. Some really intense scenes, especially one by the ladder across this apartment block or by this theatre. And really enjoyed the investigation side of this film as well. And very kind of intense opening scene there, going from like kind of one different place to the next. Really great way to kickstart the 6th film there. Then at number 3, I've gone for, again, the first Scream film, as well as Scream 4, the first Scream film to come out in over a decade. And kind of a bit of a reset button for this film series, a bit of a resurgence for this film series, kind of a breath of fresh air with a new set of characters. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention about Scream 6, by the way, the only Scream film to date without Sydney Prescott, and it was great to see Sydney back in the 7th one. I just thought I'd give a quick mention there before I forget, but Scream 5 really did surprise me, guys. I was thinking, like the 4th one, is this going to be a bit of a generic, run-of-the-mill Scream film? But no, I was really surprised. Really kind of like, again, that opening scene, very much a bit of a kind of, you could say, similar resemblance to the classic opening scene of the original. I did not predict where that opening scene was going to go, so I thought that was very cleverly handled there. This is the first Scream film Wes Craven doesn't direct, and whilst it still doesn't have the magic of the first 2 Scream films, I still think, again, like, under a different director, a different name, the director for this did a decent job. And Scream 5, fantastic entry. Didn't expect the reveal towards the end of both the Ghostface Killers. Again, I kind of liked how we're just focusing on a new set of characters with both the Carpenter sisters, with Samantha and Tara Carpenter. And yeah, Jenna Ortega, forgot the last who plays Samantha Carpenter, but she does a fantastic job. And yeah, the one intense scene where this mother's son is in this house and the mother is getting these threat calls through through a car, and you can tell that technology has come a long way within that fifth entry again, and just kind of the technical side of it used to its full advantage, wherever that's in the opening scene, but one scene in a car and this mother character's getting these anonymous calls there. Again, it's a bit of a throwback to the original, where you get kind of this sort of this illusion of Billy Loomis in this film, and it's kind of playing tricks on one character's mind. But yeah, and again, Jack Quaid and Mickey Madison make decent additions to this film. Also, again, a new group of characters, and they've got the love for horror and many movies. Again, it's a real love letter to horror itself, when you've got a group of film fanatics there that are kind of using kind of references of previous horror films or movies in general to kind of relate itself to present day. I kind of liked how it did that as well as the second film. So yeah, that is Scream 5 there. And great to see Sydney and Dewey and yeah, Gale returning this after a decade as well. Coming in at number 2, of course, Scream 2. One of the best horror sequels ever. Hell yeah, this is fantastic in every sense of the word. How you do a follow-up to a predecessor in the space of a year. I think Wes Craven took a slice of the original into a follow-up within the space of time, and he nailed it down to a T here with this sequel. I think it is a fantastic addition to this Scream universe. Again, following some of returning characters with Sydney, there's Randy and again, Dewey, Gale, Sydney's new boyfriend, I think Derek, although I think Derek had a bit of a cringe scene with that dance in that assembly hall. I mean, why? That is just so bizarre. But great to see. Again, this sequel went to a different avenue with kind of the theatrical side of the film with the stage play. David Warner is such an underrated character in this film. Really loved seeing David Warner in this film. And again, it's kind of, you've got it again relative to Billy Loomis in the original, with Billy's mother in this. Again, you've got a couple of mentions of Sydney's mother in there as well. And on the anniversary of Sydney's mother's death, I think that's in this film and the original, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the return of Woodsboro. This college opening scene is probably rivals the opening scene of the original. Again, that opening scene set, that cinema, is a fantastic way to kickstart this fantastic sequel. That final showdown is marvelous. That intense scene with the Ghostface killer in that big house, and that lady all alone in that house gets that anonymous phone call. How you do a horror sequel, this is a prime example of that. So that is Scream 2 there, and just some brutal kills in there. Also, that bittersweet rivalry between Gale Weathers and Sydney about, I think Sydney's a bit annoyed with her about this book and what Gale has a couple of things Gail's put in that book as well. I think that happens in Scream 2 here. So yeah, but again, really enjoyable sequel, that one, Scream 2. And of course, taking the cake for number one spot, there could only be one winner, in my opinion. And of course, that is Scream from 1996. The film that kick-started it all, that, you know, kind of brought resurgence and to the slasher genre, putting it into a whole new light and a bit of a reset button, kind of what brought the slasher universe back to winning ways within kind of the Hollywood industry, but kind of just making a new kind of name for the horror genre with the Ghostface Killer as an iconic movie slasher villain there. And yeah, just a great introduction to either Sidney Prescott, Tatum, Randy, Stewie, Bailey Loomis, and Gail Weathers. Yeah, the list just goes on. My favourite scene in this film has to be the blockbuster scene within that conversation between Bailey and Stewie in there. That is probably my favourite scene in the movie, but also the house party where Randy and his friends are having a friends gathering to watch, I think it's Halloween on VHS. Again, this film pays homage to those classic horror movies, and yeah, it just is a love letter to horror, this film. And yeah, just again, fantastic film, one of the best horror films ever made, in my opinion. That classic opening scene with Drew Barrymore, that again, the Woodsboro setting used to its full advantage, that big house in the outskirts of Woodsboro, the classic reveal of both the Ghostface killers towards the end, some brutal kills as well, with obviously one by the garage and the house party. And yeah, again, just a phenomenal horror film, one of the best horror films that I will go back to every year round. And this just goes to show that Wes Craven, just a master at his craft within the horror genre, both Nightmare on Elm Street, but again, very, very creative yet again here with the first Scream film. So that is the original Scream, which is my favourite Scream film. So yeah, guys, that has been my ranking of the Scream film series. Do let me know your thoughts on this Scream ranking. What's your thoughts on the Scream film series as a whole? Fun slasher film series with the likes of Courtney Cox and David Arquette in there, and the list goes on. So yeah, Jenna Ortega, etc. A great cast in there as well. So yep, that has been my Scream ranking film series. I'm very intrigued to see what's in store with the 8th film. What's your favourite Scream film? Do you have a ranking of these movies? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. And I'll be back for more content soon. So thanks for watching. Cheers for stopping by. And until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
It's Ollie and Sammy G in the house, talking shit, watching flicks. Sam can't sing, but he is nearly good at it. Ollie does the dancing. Sam is entrancing. Sam has added another one to the collection today. In conclusion, today has been a great day.